Hello, Rebecca. Hello, Theo.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you fine.
Oh, great.
How was it yesterday, Tom?
It was the opposite of relaxing. I don't think Allison Becker had a shot on goal, did he? He
No.
was just, he was bored.
Could have given the day off, couldn't you? I think
Yeah.
one of those games aren't pretty like that, are they? When it's so difficult as a neutral, you want
No.
to see a bit more
Well,
entertainment,
yeah.
but
I mean, I think they had 10 men in the box the whole time, right?
they did. They really did.
I was all prepared to just take a point and move on.
Time to welcome a very, very special guest to It's Called Soccer. Away from the sport, he made his name as one of the most respected figures in American television, bringing some of the biggest shows in history to our screens. He turned his focus to sport in the early 90s with part ownership of the San Diego Padres, and not sure if I'm pronouncing that right,
You
but I
did.
am English,
Yeah,
and
you
later
are.
with the Boston Red Sox. Okay, good. Thank you. Where he's overseen 3 World Series title triumphs alongside his business partner, John Henry. In 2010, the Fenway Sports Group took control of Liverpool and returned huge success to the city with 2 Premier League titles and a Champions League win in 2019. Welcome to It's Called Soccer, Tom Werner. Tom, it's lovely to see you.
It's lovely to see you, Rebecca, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say that you have been instrumental in making soccer even more popular in this country, in the United States. The way that these games are displayed on the various Comcast networks, everything is really due to your articulate observations about the sport, your charm, your wisdom, and I watch you every week.
Oh, you're so kind. Oh, that is
Theo,
so
notice
lovely.
notice he didn't say internet or
Okay. All right, we'll fix that.
If you could help me fix that, you fix everything else, Tom, that would be great. We've got a lot of really important things to ask you, but maybe the most important, Tom, is you've been, of course, across to England for years now, which means that you have definitely been subjected to drinking English tea. And we've been having a debate for weeks. Well, it's not really a debate, is it? It's how is it correct to drink tea, Tom? And I am fully expecting you to tell me, since you're now in England so much, that you have your tea nice and strong with some milk. Am
No,
I
you're
right,
wrong.
Tom?
I do have it with honey, but I will tell you that
Oh no!
I will tell you that I have become devoted to tea. I used to be a coffee drinker, but once I got to the UK and enjoyed an afternoon tea, I mean, it really does. Not only is the taste great, but this idea that you can slow down in the middle of your afternoon because people in America go nonstop all the time, and to have a break at 4:30 in the afternoon and have some tea with honey is perfect.
Do you dip anything in it at all?
No, just a cookie,
No.
maybe a
No
biscuit.
biscuits.
yeah.
Digestive
Hey,
biscuit?
No. Theo, did you notice Tom didn't say, yeah, maybe a little digestive? Like, we don't do that here.
Okay.
I'm sorry, like, it doesn't, we
No.
don't do that.
Tom would love a digestive. Tom would love a digestive. Okay, Tom is fitting right in, except for the honey. We'll give him a pass. He's got to try the milk, but we'll give him a pass.
Tom, I just want to make this abundantly clear. I've lived in Boston for 25 years, but I grew up majority of my life in St. Louis. Your own Sam Kennedy knows this. So 2004, 2013, I appreciate you beating the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. So this is really, really difficult for me to do this podcast. When you guys bought the Boston Red Sox, but then you made the decision to buy Liverpool, there are so many similarities, Tom, between both clubs in their respective sports with the fan bases. You just touched on it. Elaborate a little bit more just about there's something special about the Red Sox fan that goes to Fenway and the Liverpool fan or supporter that goes to Anfield.
Well, the three of you know that the relationship that these two clubs have with their fan base, their supporters, is really almost unique. I was talking to an Arsenal fan, Theo, who said, you're born, and it's almost like you're given a stock, and you can't sell that stock, and you have that stock for the rest of your life. But when I go to Fenway Park, we had not won a World Series, as you know, in 84 years.
Here
and
we go.
The thing that was most wonderful for me was when we did win that World Series in 2004, parents were bringing Red Sox banners to the cemetery and planting them on their parents' grave because they wanted that to know that they had participated in this extraordinary experience. And I can only tell you, to be on the bus at Liverpool last May or June after we won the Premier League. There was that terrible tragedy that marred the ending. But to see the joy on the faces of our supporters, it was like there was one child who said, "You made my dream come true." I mean, to be able to be a part of that, and I think there must have been 1 million people there, Rebecca, who were just having a great time. I saw one man who's carrying his goat with him, and it really was. It really was a memory.
And what about when you took over Liverpool, Tom? Because, of course, you talked there about the wait for a World Series with the Boston Red Sox. The wait for Liverpool to win the top flight title when you took over in 2010 was at 20 years. And it took another 10 for you to win that first one during COVID, which, of course, felt different to the one you're referring to that happened just recently in May. What was the most surprising thing? What surprised you most about English football, about the Premier League, about the quest for silverware, about football generally, in comparison to everything that you knew before you came to England?
Well, the first thing is that it is extremely difficult to be successful in the Premier League. It's extremely difficult to win one championship. And the fact that under Jurgen, we won multiple championships, it's a great credit, I think, to his staff, Mike Gordon, Michael Edwards, now Richard Hughes. I mean, it's such a competitive league. And the fact of the matter is that, it's going to be very difficult, as much as all the pundits are saying that we're going to win the league this year. You could see by our first 4 matches how competitive the league is. And we've been resilient. We've been fortunate. But, the way we played Newcastle last year in the Carabao Cup final, I mean, they dominated us. So it's a commitment, though, that we have to win. I think that one thing that I have learned, and I think we're relatively humble and modest about this, was that we were very enthusiastic about changing the squad, because I think it's very difficult to repeat. So I think there was a great intention to bring in new players, obviously to get better. And as much as it's been talked about how our spend was this year, we were able to spend to the degree that we did because we also sold a lot of players. I think maybe 7 or 8 players left and 7 or 8 players came. And by the way, one of the most encouraging things about that is that we have not clicked yet, and I don't expect us to click right away. But I do think that part of what we've learned, both the Red Sox and Liverpool, is that you just can't bring the same squad back, because you need to bring in new energy, you need to bring in new ideas, and I guess that's sort of my top line thought.
Do you know, to follow up on that, which is fascinating for me, is you spent a lot of money, of course, but the biggest quality is, like, how do you personally look for a successful manager? And as well, like to create like the balance and the unity with the ownership and the coaches and the players itself. That's ultimately, when you spend a lot of money, the biggest factor is the manager. How do you even go about of finding that personality?
Well, first of all, I think that I want to give great credit to Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards, because they identified Arne right away as their top choice, and they were not trying to duplicate the extraordinary qualities of Jurgen. They were looking for somebody who could bring their own ideas, and there were a lot of the similar ideas. The same kind of attacking football, the same kind of strategy, but Arne was at the top of the list for all the reasons that he's demonstrated. And people say, was it a surprise to you that we won the league? I mean, we were all delighted, but we had great confidence even in the first match that he was the right guy to succeed Jurgen.
Tom, what are the differences? Because I think our listeners would be really intrigued by it, because while the results are consistent, yes, you won, I think Arne Slot may have had the most difficult to replace someone like Jurgen. I think is understated on how difficult that is. And yet I consistently hear from people like yourself and Fenway Sports Group that there are differences. What would some of those differences be?
Well, there's so many similarities, but I think that, I would just say that one of the things that I have respected about Arnie, and this is no disrespect to Jurgen, is that I think we've made a lot of tactical improvements in the second half, and I think his management of the team has been outstanding. And when you think about, again, one of the things that makes the sport so incredible is these players are playing mostly twice a week, sometimes three times a week. And that management is also underappreciated by the fans. But, you can see the way that Alexander Isak, he didn't play over the weekend. He had an odd training during the off season. So he's going to be integrated in the squad slowly. But, the way that Arnie has substituted has been terrific. And I think, by the way, one of the things that I'm sure the three of you have noted is that I think except for one player, the players that we've signed are all 25 years or younger.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think one of the qualities that Arnie brings to it is I think he is a great teacher. And even though he is playing with some of the best talent in the world, I think that they listen to him and they appreciate the education they're getting to become better football players.
And Tom, we talked about it in our previous episodes. It's not just the second half tactical tweaks. It's not just the second half substitutions, of course, against Burnley when he took off Milos Kerkez in the first half to protect Kerkez from getting a red card, and which is a really tough thing as a manager, obviously, to do. Take off that first half substitution is tough, but it just seems that he's got absolutely everybody. I want to talk to you about Isak in just a second, or I'm sure the guys do. But you mentioned what a beautiful summer it was with Liverpool winning the Premier League title. The tragedy that happened, though, during the parade. And then, of course, the passing away of Diogo Jota and the outpouring of grief for him as a player, but also, Tom, for him as a person. I'd like to just give you the stage for a second, just to pay tribute to a man that we didn't know personally. We only enjoyed his game. But what was he like as a person, Tom?
He was an extraordinary person. He was beloved. And, he was beloved, of course, not because he was the leading goal scorer or whatever. He was beloved because he was genuinely kind. I found him incredibly curious. When I would have a conversation with him, we talked a lot about gaming. Do you know that he was a gamer?
Yeah,
and
that celebration.
And that when he did his celebration, he referred to that. But he had an esports team, and I think by reputation he was one of the best FIFA players in the Premier League. And I only mention that just because he had a certain breadth of curiosity that drew people to him. He was extremely popular among his teammates. He was extremely popular in the training room. And, one of the things that I admired about him is, everybody's different, but he had a couple of tough injuries last year, and he didn't mope around. He focused on how he could help the club, and he knew that he could have an impact even though he didn't start, and he did have an impact because he did have some late goals that were really quite important, but he accepted his role in a very graceful way. And I think we were all, it's always a tragedy when somebody dies before their time, but his death really did hit everybody because he was so beloved.
He really was, and just incredible words. I was going to actually lead on to the fact of, you already might have asked already, but obviously there's like increasing load on the players' mental health with everything they've had to go through with Diogo Jota and the parade and Hillsborough, everything that's happened at Liverpool Football Club. I mean, to be able to adapt in those moments as an ownership, and now the culture changing, the expectation and social media. How do you manage that? Because it seems to me that everyone's together no matter what happens in life, which is really important. You kind of come away from the actual footballer, which is actually quite fascinating to hear, because that's not often you hear that at football clubs.
Well, the support network within the club is very strong, and it was immediately important to us to reach out to his widow and to make sure that she understood that, we are a family. It's a cliche, but we do think of ourselves as a family, and we wanted to make sure that she was well taken care of financially and her children. And one of the things about football is what did Bill Shankly said? He said it's not a matter of life and death. It's far more important than that. That's on one side of the spectrum. On the other side of the spectrum was Jurgen's point of view is, it's entertainment and it's not life and death. And it's very important for us to demonstrate that whatever happens, that we care about the football player, but we care even more about the individual.
I think it's one thing, Tom, to say those things. It's another thing to do those. And I think a tip of the cap to you guys in Fenway Sports Group, because when we talked about it on this podcast, when it was known that you guys were taking care of Diogo Jota's family and everything, it kind of took the breath away from us. I want to change topics a little bit, stay within the summer. It's a twofold question, though, because obviously you guys this summer have spent a ton of money and you've been at the topic of conversation with spending that, but Isak in the final hours. We did one podcast that we completely had to re-record because he was coming, right. He was going, he was just twofold question for you. One, was there any doubt that crept into your mind at that point? And then the last show we had Fabrizio Romano on talking about the chaos of the transfer window. Just talk about the chaos from an owner's perspective of the final 5, 6, 7 hours. What is that like for you? How many phones do you have? And are you just putting it on airplane mode?
I think, in the Newcastle situation, obviously their club needed to find a replacement. They certainly, we thought that we had a terrific financial offer for them, but he did have a contract with them that lasted for 3 more years. And so, I guess our feeling was, we had signed Ekitike to be a striker, and we felt if it works, that would be great. And if it doesn't work, there'll be another option at some point down the road. But I didn't know anything more than the news media. And, I thought we were going to get the defender from Crystal Palace.
So did we. By the way, so did we.
So did we, yeah.
But I understood, their club started out very well, and their chairman, my counterpart, said, what, we can't afford, whatever that means, we can't afford to lose him. And so it takes so much to win, and it's not due to the talents of any one player. So, I think Isak will be terrific, but he's not the only striker in the world.
Tom, not to be mean, but I was obviously delighted that you didn't get Mark Gay because, as you can see from the shirt behind me,
I know you're a Crystal Palace supporter.
I'm absolutely delighted.
I want you to know, Rebecca, that when we didn't get him, I thought about you, and I knew you would be happy.
Thank you.
She wasn't happy with Eze. She was not happy with Eze.
No, well, we don't have to talk about Eze, but
Sorry,
we're just getting confirmation, Tom. Confirmation you won't be going back in January. Can you confirm that on Gay? No confirmation. Oh no, I don't.
Notice how there was a long laugh.
You know what?
A long pause.
All of a sudden, Rebecca, you went cloudy on me. I can't hear you. So.
Yeah. Okay, Tom. All right. Listen, before we let you go, I want to completely change tack because you have a lot going on, Tom, in your life. It's not just Boston Red Sox. It's not just Liverpool. It's not just all the different golf things you've got going on. You've also got a play coming to London's West End. Just real quick, fill us in on that, Tom. My goodness.
Thank you for asking. Before, I just do want to say one thing, though, because if I leave this interview, I want to make sure that people know is that, Fenway Sports Group, some years our supporters love us and some years they don't. But, our general feeling is just to leave the club in a better place than when we saw it. And I'm, equally proud. I'm so proud of our trophies, and we want to keep winning trophies. I'm equally proud of what we've done at Anfield.
Agreed.
Because, when we were one of the bidders, when we came in and looked at the club, and there were all these plans about tearing down Anfield, just as there were plans to tear down Fenway Park. And I'm so proud of the fact that we have increased our capacity, but done it in a very classy way. And I think if you go to Anfield, you really will feel just the energy of the place, but you'll feel the ghosts of the place too, and it's a wonderful venue for anybody who's listening to this. I urge you to come to Anfield because it will be an experience. So anyway, thank you for asking me about the play. I got involved in theater because, like we've been talking about, in the end, sports is live entertainment. And I got involved in this play in London with Sarah Snook called Picture of Dorian Gray. And I produced it and brought it to Broadway, helped bring it to Broadway. And so I got the bug. And of course, if you go to West End, it's wonderful to see great theater. And this idea it's based on the classic movie High Noon. And we are making it because the themes in it, which is really about leadership and cowardice and courage, are themes that resonate even today. And so even though it's set in the Old West, the play is really about courage, and it's going to be playing at the Harold Pinter Theater in December. So anybody who's listening, please buy a ticket.
Absolutely. That sounds incredible. Tom, thank you so much. Good luck with that. We've got to go see that. It sounds brilliant. We are so grateful for you joining us on It's Called Soccer. We could talk to you all day. We're going to let you go. We wish you luck for the rest of the season. Let's hope your heart rate calms down with everything that's happened in the last 10 minutes of every game.
It won't.
So
the Red Sox are in the wild card, Rebecca. That heart rate's still up there.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, we just wish you luck with it all, Tom. And honestly, we're so grateful. It's always lovely to chat, and we'll see you soon.
Lovely to chat with the three of you. Thank you.
Hope you finish second.